Welcome back to The Explainer. So if you're keeping an eye on the Atlanta real estate market, you know it's confusing, right? Today we're going to cut through all that noise. We're going to decode the numbers for 2026, show you what's really going on behind the headlines, and give you a solid game plan for the year ahead.
All right, let's kick things off with a feeling I'm sure a lot of you can relate to when it comes to the national housing market: the speed of molasses. I mean, doesn't that just capture it perfectly? That slow, sticky, kind of frustrating feeling for pretty much everyone involved, whether you're trying to buy or sell.
But here's the thing about that national story. It is absolutely not a one-size-fits-all situation. When you really dig into the data, you see it's not one big market. It's actually a tale of two very, very different markets happening at the same time across the country.
In this slide, wow, it just lays it out perfectly. Over in the Northeast, inventory is super tight, and that's just pushing prices up and up. But down here in the South, including our neck of the woods in Atlanta, it's a whole different ballgame. We've got way more homes for sale, which means prices are leveling off, and sometimes you're even seeing them dip a tiny bit. Two completely different worlds.
So you've got these huge forces shaping everything on the national level. There's the affordability crisis, which just isn't going away. Then you've got what we call the golden handcuffs. All those homeowners who are locked into these amazing 2 or 3% mortgage rates and have zero desire to move. And then there's the forecast, right? Sales are expected to pick up a little bit, maybe 5 to 10%, as interest rates hopefully, slowly, drift their way down into the high 5.
Okay, so with that national picture in mind, let's zoom in. Let's talk Atlanta, because our local data tells its own really unique and frankly fascinating story. Okay, first up, take a look at this. New listings in Atlanta year over year. I mean, you could not draw a flatter line with a ruler. It's basically identical. What this tells us is that we did not get a big flood of new sellers putting their homes on the market. So that brings up a pretty big question, right? If the number of new listings is flat, why in the world are there almost 6,000 more homes for sale this year compared to last? And the answer is crystal clear in the data. It's not because more people are selling, it's because the homes that are for sale are just taking longer to sell.
In this table, this is where it all comes together. Look at the top two lines, pending sales, median price. They're basically flat. That's just statistical noise. The real story is in the bottom two rows. Days on market, up. Big time. And month supply, that's how long it would take to sell every single house on the market, is also way up. That is what's really changed.
Okay, so we've got all these numbers, but the most important part is figuring out what they actually mean for you and how to look past some of those scary headlines you're probably seeing. You know the ones I'm talking about. The headlines that use these dramatic words like skyrocketed to make it sound like the market is collapsing, all because it's taking longer to sell a house than it did during that crazy pandemic frenzy. And this is the number they're all pointing to: 30 days. Compared to selling your house in a single weekend with 10 offers, yeah, I guess you could call that skyrocketing. But let's get some perspective. And this is so important to remember. For anyone who was in the market before things went completely wild a few years ago, selling your home in just 30 days, that was amazing. That was something you'd celebrate, not something you'd fear. We're not in a crisis. We're just getting back to normal. Now let's get super practical. Let's break this down with some real-world math from a neighborhood called Laurel Springs. Okay, so data shows that in this neighborhood, it takes about 30 showings to get an offer, but right now the average house is only getting about 6 showings a month. You do the math, that's a 5-month wait for an offer. This is exactly why getting your price right from day one is absolutely everything in this market.
All right, so now that we've decoded the data and we know what's really going on, what do you actually do with this information? Let's build a clear, actionable game plan for 2026, whether you're looking to buy or sell.
And really, it all boils down to this one simple but super important question you have to ask yourself. How long are you willing to wait? Because your answer to that question is going to shape your entire strategy.
Okay, if you're a seller in 2026, here's the deal. You are in a price war and a beauty contest, and you have to win both. Your house has to look incredible and be priced competitively. And you got to remember, pricing isn't about what you think your house is worth. It's a strategy to get people in the door. So if you're going to test the market with a high price, be smart about it. Build automatic price drops into your listing agreement from the very beginning.
Now, for you buyers out there, your strategy is all about weighing the pros and cons. Sure, you could wait for rates to come down, but guess what? So is everybody else. You'll have way more competition. You could wait for prices to drop, but a $4,000 price cut only saves you like $6 or $7 a month. Is that really worth it?
The smart move might be to jump in now while there's more to choose from and fewer bidding wars.
And that's really what I want to leave you with. Waiting isn't a free option. Every single month you're writing a rent check, that's a month you're not building your own wealth, your own equity. So the real decision isn't just about timing the market perfectly, it's about balancing the hope for a better deal tomorrow with the very real financial cost of today.